Hey, how's it going there, folks? Welcome back here to a Saturday evening. It is the Earthmaster out here, August 3rd, 2024, about 9:48 p.m. here, California time. Latest activity shows a 3.0 here around the Turkey area. Also some movement north of the Iceland area. Let's go ahead and check in out here in Hawaii first, where we got a little bit of activity stirring up out here once again around the Kilauea volcano. This earthquake, though, around the Mauna Loa region, the eastern side here. Pretty shallow earthquake, about 2 kilometers. Aside from that, most of the movement here stretching out from the summit off to the upper east rift zone, where we're still just waiting on something to happen out here. Obviously, we're quite pressurized underneath the area, and just waiting and waiting. Just a waiting game right now. Seismograph station out here. Let's check out the recorded. Looks like the data is back up, so they did have a little bit of blackout there earlier today, but it looks like things are back up and running right now, and that's kind of important. Obviously, we need to know what's going on as far as earthquake activity goes, so there's a handful of smaller quakes, nothing of any major concern yet. Again, just waiting. The deformation data out here shows a general trend of inflation here in the last couple days, literally the last week or so. About halfway up from where we were prior to the magma displacement there from the summit off to the upper east rift zone. Here's the current level of inflation. There's the previous level. Just can't really say what's going to happen yet. It may continue like this for a little bit before we see any activity. An up and down pattern. All right, a little movement here on the San Andreas Fault near Parkfield, a little 2.2. Aside from that, most of the movement down here in Southern California generally quiet. This activity here from yesterday, and looks like we got a little bit in there today as well. So I need to pull up yesterday's earthquake activity to get a total tally count out here. Looks like we got close to 50 earthquakes here following that 3.4 earthquake that struck out here yesterday. So as you can see, a handful of ones and twos out there, all relatively shallow. Looks like a couple miles here below the surface. Seen a couple twos out here today. Nothing major going on here across the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault for now. Northern California, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on. There's that little earthquake on the Cascadia subduction zone. 1.5 from earlier today. Let's check out the tremor map here real quick and see what's being reported out here. Nothing. Zip 0. 0 is the number right now. So nothing coming in as far as tremors go. Further out and about, Yellowstone pretty quiet. The rest of the states out here getting some movement out in the typical oil fields out there in Texas, outside of Pecos, Texas, and one earthquake out in the New Madrid seismic zone from earlier, 2.1. So far as anything major going on here throughout the day today, most of this activity here from this morning. Well, we've seen some 4s out there. There's that 5-pointer from yesterday. So far as anything newer goes, let's see what we got. New Zealand got a 3.5. Looks like that's North Island area or split in between that North and South Island area, fairly deep. Solomon Island's pretty quiet again. Clustering going on around the Philippines area. Of course, this could be considered aftershock activity from the large event out there yesterday, right? Was it yesterday? Days just seem to continue to run and run. 6.8 yesterday, and then of course we had that 6.3 in there as well. So no major new movement to report, but a handful of smaller quakes being reported out there on the Earthquake 3D globe. Kuril-Kamchatka seeing a couple 4s up there. And the Java Trench, fairly quiet. Some older movement out there throughout the day today. Really nothing of any major concern, though. There's that 3-pointer out there around the western Turkey area. 3.3 way up north here, just off the plate boundary. I do want to see what's going on here with Iceland. And let's go over here and check out the Iceland site real quick, where we got about 43 earthquakes in the last 12 hours. Not a big deal at all. Far as extreme small microquakes, yeah, there's a little bit out here, but these are generally extremely small. So I try to keep it just for the counted ones here, just above the 0.1 level. Not a whole lot. Obviously, we'll see some major increasing activity in terms of earthquake activity leading up to and just prior to any eruption activity. All right, space weather activity. Well, where's our G2 class storm, folks? Right, is this going to be another dud? Let's check out the detailed forecast. Here's the original Aurora forecast here for tonight. KP index of around 5, but even forecasted here between 5 and 6. Main UTC time here of August 3rd between 1821, 0300. I think we're within that time period. We're past that. So either this has completely missed us or it's arriving late, which I don't think is the case here. We should have seen some type of uptick here across the Aurora department, and we're really not seeing it. Fairly minimal conditions out there for the Auroras, and the KP index out here, as you can see, really no sign of any type of CME event. So maybe potentially a complete dud. All right, flaring activity. Looks like we're flaring with some sea flare activity right now from it's hard to say. The western or the eastern limb over here looks pretty active. So does the western limb, but and a couple different areas. You can see these little bright features here on the sun, which is not blue, obviously. This is the infrared, right? If I remember right, in terms of viewing the sunspots a little bit better. Got a decent flare threat here, about 25% chance for X flare, M flare around 75, C flare around 99% chance or so. And here's all these sunspots out here on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Well, watch this very active area out here. It's fairly large. Looks somewhat active as well. It's coming around the southeastern limb of the sun. We'll get a better look at that here tomorrow morning. All right, far as hurricanes go, we're watching the, well, look at the Eastern Pacific, pretty active out there. Nothing of any major concern yet. Our main focus is going to be on Debby down here, Tropical Storm Debby. Maximum sustained winds there at about 45 miles per hour. There is hurricane warnings up in effect now. Now it looks like they're going to make this, forecast this to be a hurricane just prior to landfall there. In the red, that's going to be the hurricane warning, tropical storm warning here in the blue. And man, they're going to get quite a bit of rainfall out here. Some big time rain and peak surge up here, up around 6 to 10 feet in the red here, where the expected eye wall is supposed to take place here in terms of landfall. So there it is right now, just spinning off the western coast of Florida. That's going to rapidly intensify and head off in that general direction before, who knows what it's going to do. It looks like it wants to come back for a second round, so we'll have to watch that there with Tropical Storm Debby. But it's going to be a hurricane here probably before morning, potentially. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Have yourself a good night. I am tired. I'm hoping I can get some sleep tonight. Haven't slept too good the past couple nights here for some reason, so I don't know what it is. Something in the air. I don't know, but it could just be the heat. I'm done with the heat, and we don't have any cooler weather out here in California. We got some subtropical moisture coming in, but it's still hot and miserable. We'll catch you guys back out here for the Sunday morning update. Stay safe, everyone.